everyone, this is Ben Falcon's Media Corner back again with a brand new AK After a Soul review episode for 2022. And as you guys can tell from who I am trying to be right here, I am here, of course, to talk to you guys one of my most anticipated movies of 2022. And this is the 2022 superhero film based on the DC Comics character of the same name. And that is, of course, The Batman. So, finally I get to talk to you guys about this movie, and I can't believe it's finally out already. So, The Batman, this was directed by Matt Reeves, the man behind the sequels to the prequel trilogy of the Planet of the Apes movies, as well as director of Cloverfield and Let Me In. And this film stars Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, in which this is basically set in the second year of Batman. This is not an origin story that we've already seen before in the past from other various Batman films. Not like Tim Burton or Christopher Nolan or anyone or Zack Snyder or anything like that. We basically see Batman in his second year, and what happens is he teams up with this police detective named Commissioner Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright, in which these two characters, they basically are working together, where there's this serial killer who's naming himself the Riddler, played by Dano. He's leaving behind disturbing mysteries and clues for the Batman to solve after he convicts horrific murders. So we see Batman trying to solve the mystery as well as we see him encounter a bunch of other characters along his way, like Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, played by Zoe Kravitz, and Oz, aka the Penguin, played by Colin Farrell. And so yeah, that's pretty much the story of The Batman. So for myself, for going into my most anticipated movie this year, I had this massive hype inside my body that I just could not get rid of because I was super pumped for The Batman. Not only just because I'm a fan of this character, because of the people who were behind this movie, the director and the stars. Although back in 2020, there was a bit of controversy on the internet surrounding Robert Pattinson being cast as Batman, because a few people didn't think he wasn't going to do well as Batman since after the Twilight phenomenon. But hey, listen up. He has redeemed himself a lot in recent years since Twilight. And plus, he even hates the franchise. And since I started seeing him in other projects after the Twilight phenomenon, I think he has become a great actor, from Good Time, The Lighthouse, Tenet, and The Devil All the Time. And hearing for other people who were in this movie, you've got Zoe Kravitz from The Hunger Games, Paul Dano from Little Miss Sunshine and Prisoners, Jeffrey Wright from the Daniel Craig era of Bond movies, John Turturro from The Big Lebowski, Andy Serkis, who I call him the King of Motion Capture, from Gollum, Kong, and Caesar, and Colin Farrell from In Bruges and True Detective Season 2. And for having Matt Reeves behind the camera, I was really looking forward to seeing what he can do for his own take of Batman, since I really loved his last two movies, Dawn and War for the Planet of the Apes. And this movie was originally scheduled for a 2021 release a few times, but it got delayed a few times because of the pandemic. And even the production, since after the first teaser of the movie came out, the production got shut down again because of Robert Pattinson being tested positive for COVID. But still, though, when I seen that trailer, as well as more trailers and some other sneak peeks of the movie, I still had this massive hype inside of my body, and I just couldn't even get rid of it, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I went to see this on opening day on the 4th of March, 2 days ago, in a pretty packed screening. And even before I even sat down from my seat, I got an incredible offer from my local Odeon cinema, which I go to all the time. I got the comic that's based off the movie. And I even read the comic before I even sat down to watch this movie. So I'd like to say to Odeon Cinema, thank you so much for this incredible offer. I really much appreciate this incredible offer. And after watching this movie, oh my God. This is definitely what a Batman should be like. Because I freaking love this movie. Yep, you heard me say that right. I freaking loved Matt Reeves' The Batman. There's just so much things I have to talk to you guys about in here that I'll try my best to not go over too much. But the casting here, it has a perfect casting in this movie with such a big star cast. And the performances were fantastic in the movie. Zoe Kravitz as Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, she was excellent here in the movie on her character motivation and character development, from making her character not like incredibly rich or anything. And we do learn about her backstory, which I found pretty interesting while I was watching this movie. And Paul Dano as the Riddler, he was absolutely terrifying as the Riddler. And for making him into a serial killer was a pretty smart choice. He's nothing like what Jim Carrey did before in Batman Forever, for making him way too over the top and goofy and all that. For Paul Dano's take on the Riddler, I thought he did an excellent job here, and he was fantastic in the movie. Been playing, a psychopathic maniac in this movie. Andy Serkis as Alfred, he was fantastic in the movie as well. John Turturro was great as Falcone. Jeffrey Wright was fantastic as Commissioner Gordon, and Colin Farrell as the Penguin. He's really unrecognizable here for all that makeup and prosthetics I think he was wearing in the movie. And his voice in the movie, wow, he's incredible with that voice he provided for his own take of the Penguin. And he is over the top in the film, but not as over the top like Danny DeVito did in Batman Returns. I thought Colin Farrell for his own take on the Penguin was excellent, just like alongside what Paul Dano did for his own take of the Riddler. And of course, Robert Pattinson, the Robert Pattinson as Batman Bruce Wayne. We can get over the whole Twilight issue here. His take on Batman, wow. He is phenomenal as Batman. He's badass. He's excellent here in this movie, and he's definitely another favorite portrayal of mine of Batman. And for his take on Bruce Wayne, I found really satisfying here because he's mostly kind of silent in the film, since this is basically selling a younger version of Batman, which I thought, again, Robert Pattinson, he kicked it out of the park here. And the direction and storytelling by Matt Reeves, I thought he handled those two things so well done. He did a phenomenal job of all of that. Like, his storytelling for his own take of Batman it was a really smart choice because this movie is not a whole origin story retold over and over again that we've already seen before in the past for other Batman films. Because this is basically set during the second year of Batman, and this movie's mostly mystery detective story and all that, with Batman solving the case involving the Riddler. And there's also as part of the storyline as well that is almost kind of a coming of age story, which I kind of find satisfying. Even though we already see Bruce Wayne as Batman, but we do see him how he deals with the fact like what the city views his own take on Batman and what it should be like, which I really found that satisfying. And the direction as well by Matt Reeves, he did an incredible job with the direction. It's intense, it's terrifying, it's scary for a dark film, because it is pretty dark, this movie, but not as bloody dark or anything like that, because it's not an R-rated Batman film, it's a PG-13 Batman. But Matt Reeves, he did an incredible job of all that, and the action sequences are really exciting and just got me pumped out of my chair while I was watching this movie. And for everything else he captured on screen, it was just amazing. Like the costumes, the sets, and the location shooting and everything like that. Matt Reeves here, he did a phenomenal job of all of that. And also what I loved in the movie was the music score. It's definitely another perfect Batman score, since Hans Zimmer for the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy and Danny Elfman for the two Tim Burton Batman films. Here though, the music score, I love. There's so many words to describe the music here. It's terrifying, it's sad as well, and just sort of really Batman manly and all that. It's just incredible, and I couldn't stop even listening to it before even the movie just came out. I love the music score here, and I would never stop listening to it. And the runtime as well, wow. The runtime here in this movie, it's insane. It's a very long Batman film. It's even longer than The Dark Knight Rises, which that was 2 hours and 45 minutes. But here, it's 2 hours and 56 minutes. But I didn't even care, because I was getting really more invested with this whole new take on Batman. And everything in this movie was just phenomenal and just blew me away completely out of my seat. And I've got no single flaw with this movie at all. I've just got no issue with this movie. So that's all I have to say about the Batman, other than this movie was just everything what I wanted for a Batman film. And Matt Reeves, I can give him that, as well as to Robert Pattinson. So if you are dying to see this movie, this is obviously a 100% huge recommendation by myself, and this will definitely be your popcorn treat here. So that's all I have to say about the Batman. And of course, the Batman absolutely deserves a 5 out of 5. I'm very pleased this movie did not disappoint me, and I'm very, very happy, and I'm glad Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson did not disappoint me with this, since I really wanted to love this movie, and I got that. So thank you guys so much for watching for my AK After Us review on The Batman, and let me know what you think of this movie if you've just seen this today, or if you've seen this yesterday, or even 2 days ago. Just let me know what you think of this movie, please. I would love to hear your thoughts. Did you have an absolute blast with it, 100% 100 blast with it, or was this not the Batman movie you wanted it to be? And please, I would love to hear you people tell me what is your favorite Batman movie. Mine is, of course, The Dark Knight. It still is. So thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for more reviews. And as always, this is Ben Foggins Media Corner, signing off. And also, to say this, I'm vengeance.